I've been playing Mystic Messenger for 6 years now, and it's been a very important part of my life. And I really wanted to make a video about it. And I know it's really old now and not as relevant as it was in the past, but this game helped me a lot, more than any other media I ever did. And I didn't find any video like this about it, so I thought it'd be fun to make one myself so more people will know about the game. And to help new players. Something like this might already exist on YouTube, and I just didn't see it, but even if it does, it's rare to see videos about Mystic Messenger these days, so there's no harm in making an updated video. So what is Mystic Messenger? Mystic Messenger is a game made by Chariot. It's an otome game with a story that you get to experience through a messenger setting, with chat rooms where you talk to the characters, and calls and story modes that are in a visual novel style, and you can pick between options that affect the story, like a visual novel game. The story is, you find a phone and a stranger tells you to return it to an apartment, then your phone opens a chat room with the characters and they tell you about the RFA, which is an organization that throws parties to raise funds for charity, and it was made by Rika, who was the party coordinator and affected all the characters a lot. And she committed suicide, so the characters ask you or tell you to join the organization and take Rika's place. This game is very unique, and I never saw a game that's anything like it, so it might be a little difficult to get the hang of it at first, or even intimidating to start at all. So that's what this video is for. I won't be discussing spoilers, and I'll be staying away from discussing the actual story at all. So I'll mainly be talking about the game mechanics and how it works, and how to play the game more than anything else, so new players can experience it for themselves for the first time. So first thing first that I want to talk about, Mystic Messenger works on real time, which means that in order to play it, you'll need to dedicate time out of your day to it. If you're very busy, or if you aren't dedicated enough to the game and aren't willing to take some spare time for it every few hours throughout your day, then you shouldn't pick up the game. I'll explain. So the main feature of the game is the chat rooms. They open around every 2 hours from the morning to the evening with 2 late night chat rooms. And whenever a chat room opens, you can join it up until the time when the next chat room opens. When the next chat room opens, the last one closes and you can't join it anymore unless you buy it with hourglasses, which is the in-game currency. So you should join the chat rooms as early as you can and try to not delay them too much, so you'll have enough time to do them before they close. What the chat rooms are is basically just chatting with the game's characters. The characters talk to you and you get to pick from options what to reply to them with. I'll explain more about what to do inside the chat rooms later. You don't need to participate in every single chat room. The world won't end if you miss a few chat rooms, but make sure you participate in most of the chat rooms every day. If you want to see the chat room timings and when they're supposed to open, you can check the Mystic Messenger wiki. They have a page called chat room timings you can look at. They open based on your phone's time zone, but if you're thinking of cheating by changing your phone's time zone, you can get banned from that, so don't do it. Also, that totally ruins the fun of playing it. The whole point of it is that it works on real time. That's just the way the game works. A lot of people complain about Mystic Messenger ruining their sleep schedule, since there's chat rooms really late at night as well as really early in the morning, but you don't actually have to ruin your sleep schedule for this game, unless you're playing right after ending. My tip for playing Mystic Messenger without ruining your sleep schedule is miss the really late night chat rooms, cause it's only like 2 or 3, and you don't need to participate in absolutely every chat room to get a good ending. You just need to participate in most of them. So there's no harm in missing them if you participate in the daytime chat rooms. Second tip is for the morning chat rooms. If you want to sleep in, set an alarm for like 15 minutes before the next chat room opens. So for example, you have a chat room at 8 a.m. and a chat room at 10 a.m. Set an alarm for 9 and 45 minutes and then wake up to do the 8 a.m. chat room. Wait till the next chat room opens, then do that chat room and then go back to sleep. And if you need more sleep, do this technique again with your next chat rooms. That way you get to do 2 chat rooms at once without waking up extra early, and you can just go back to sleep after finishing them until your next alarm. You can also always buy missed chat rooms with hourglasses, but you'd be better off saving them. So I recommend only using them if you haven't participated in enough chat rooms that day, or if you really want to play that specific chat room that you missed. There's a few endings you can get in the game, and if you don't have enough participation, you will get a bad ending. So that's why it's important to join as many chat rooms as you can. It's totally okay to miss a few, just do most of them on every day and you'll be okay. Although you can also get bad endings from picking the bad options, so you're not totally safe. If you're playing the main game, you'll have 11 days of gameplay. The first day will be at the time you start the game, so you might have a lot of missed chat rooms, depending on what time you start the game. If you want to start from the very beginning, you start a game at midnight, but the first day isn't obligatory. If you miss a lot of chat rooms on the first day, it won't affect your game. Then the second, third, and fourth days are called common route, which are the days you chat with the characters, and whoever you got the most hearts from, you'll get on that character's route. And then the rest of the days will be that character's route and focus on that character. At the end of the third day, and throughout the 5th to 10 days, there will be 3 branches, which look like little locks that say tap to unlock. And once you unlock them, the game calculates which character route you'll get after finishing the third day, or common route. Or after you're already on a route, if you'll get a bad ending, or pass it so you can continue on your way to a good ending. The game calculates that based on the options that you choose while playing, as well as if you participated in enough chat rooms every day. When you're on a route, if you safely pass all 3 branches into the 10th day without getting a bad ending, then congrats! You can get a normal or good ending. And if you pass all of them, then on the 11th day, there's one chat room at 8 a.m. and the party at 12 p.m., which the party is the ending of the game and is in a visual novel style all the time. After you finish the party, your game will end and you can start another game whenever you want. And this time you can get other characters' routes and see their stories, or try to get different endings if you're into that. But I'm warning you, some of the bad endings in Mystic Messenger can get really dark. So I want to go into detail in how exactly do you get on a character's route? What exactly determines the ending you get? But first I'll tell you about the story mode so you won't be confused on why you aren't getting the character you want. So Mystic Messenger has 3 story modes: casual story, deep story, and another story. Each story mode has different characters available to get on the route of, and the first 4 days are different as well. Casual story has Yusang, Zen, and Jaehee available, meaning if you're playing casual story, you can only get the routes of one of those 3 characters, and you can't get on Jumin's route or on Seven's route. Deep story has Jumin and Seven available, so you can only get their routes in Deep story. And another story has V and Ray available, so you can only get their routes in another story. A bit of info: originally the game was only casual story and deep story, and another story was added later on after fan interest in having a V and Seran route. So if you hear people say original story in reference to Mystic Messenger, that means only casual and deep story excluding another story. Each story mode also raises the difficulty. I think deep story and casual story are kinda the same level difficulty in action, but another story is definitely harder, and you need to join more chat rooms and have more hearts. Another story chat rooms are also longer, and all the story modes are fully voiced, unlike casual and deep. So yeah, if you want a certain character, pay attention to the story mode you're playing in. Now to the way you actually get routes and endings and all that. I mentioned hearts a couple times, and they're the key to where the story goes. I'll explain the heart system in detail. You obtain hearts by picking options. Each character has a different colored heart, so you can know which character liked what you said. Yusang has the green hearts, Zen has the grey hearts, Jaehee has the orange hearts, Jumin has the purple hearts, Seven has the red hearts, V has the blue hearts, and Ray has the pink hearts. If you're focusing on getting a certain character, or you're playing a certain character's route, focus on getting their hearts by saying things that the character will like. A common misconception people have is that what determines if you have enough chat room participation to avoid a bad ending or not is the percentage you see on the day list, and that following it is what you should focus on, but that's actually not true. The percentage you see on the day list is only an estimation based on how many chat rooms you joined that day. But what actually determines your ending is how many hearts you have, and if they're good hearts or bad hearts. If you have enough hearts, you'll pass the branch. If you don't have enough hearts, or if your hearts are bad hearts, you'll get a bad ending. You should be paying more attention that you say stuff that give you hearts in chat rooms than the percentage you see. But if you join enough chat rooms, you shouldn't worry, since you definitely get enough hearts if you play the majority of chats every day. For how to get a character's heart. As I mentioned earlier, days 1 to 4 are the days you have to chat with the characters, and the character you get the most hearts from, that's available in the story mode you're playing, will be the route you get on day 5. Also keep in mind you can get a bad ending on day 5 if you don't join enough chat rooms and so don't get enough hearts throughout the common route. I'll use an example to walk you through how this works when you're playing. Let's say I'm on casual story and I want to get Yusang's out. I'll pick options that I think Yusang will like saying hi to him and not trusting V and encouraging his gaming. Whenever I pick options like that Yusang likes, I get a green heart. And if I'm out of green hearts by the time I reach the branch at the end of day 4, when I unlock it I'll see Yusang's face on the rest of the days, and so I know I'm on Yusang's route. While playing the common route, trying to get his out, I'll avoid getting Jaehee and Zen hearts, because Zen and Jaehee are also available on casual story, and if I get too many of their hearts, I'm risking getting on their routes instead of Yusang's route. And if I get an equal amount of hearts, my game won't know what to do and might just give you the bad ending on day 5. I haven't tried it, so I don't know, but you definitely aren't guaranteed to get the route you want if you have equal hearts from all the characters that are available in the story mode. Although 7 and Jumin hearts are okay and encouraged since they aren't available in casual story, and getting the hearts won't interfere with getting the route you want. And same goes for other story modes. If you're on deep story and trying to get Jumin, avoid 7 hearts. If you're on another story and trying to get Rei, avoid V hearts, and vice versa. You can even completely contradict yourself in the same chat room by, for example, joking around with 7 1 second, then siding with whoever thinks 7's jokes are annoying and telling him to stop the next. Like for example, Jaehee, 7 and Yusang are logged in, and I get options where I can scold 7 for teasing Yusang or tease Yusang together with 7. And I pick the first and get a Yusang heart, but then Jaehee doesn't like 7 teasing Yusang and says something about it, and the options are either agreeing with Jaehee or siding with 7. And like, logically, I'm going for Yusang's route, so I wouldn't want to side with 7 when it teases Yusang and side with Jaehee who's against it, right? But the thing is, agreeing with Jaehee would give me a Jaehee heart, not a Yusang heart. And I need to avoid her hearts since I'm on casual story, but 7 hearts are okay, so I'll pick the option siding with 7, even though it contradicts what I said earlier and contradicts being on Yusang's side. If you're going for Yusang's route, that'll actually be the better thing to pick. Also, you can get heartbreaks when you say something that upset a character, and also basically the Mystic Messenger equivalent of jump scares in horror games. I feel so guilty when I get them. Now for the endings. First of all, you can get a bad ending in the prologue if you lie to a known about there not being a password lock, so be careful about that. When you're on a character's route, you'll get a lot more of the hearts, even by saying things that seem irrelevant, but good and bad hearts look the same. So let's say I'm on Yusang's route, whether I say something that leads to passing the branch safely, or if I say something that will lead to the bad ending, the heart will still be green and look the same. So unless you're using a walkthrough, which is totally okay and there's no shame in that, pay attention to what you're saying and how the characters react to it, since the game won't tell you if it was the wrong choice. You can also search up the character's name and route tips on the wiki if you want. They have some tips on what type of options to avoid. I won't go into detail since this is a spoiler-free guide and I don't want to talk about what happens in the story, but if you need help, there's tips you can look up and walkthroughs too, if you want to play it safe. I already talked about the branches, so I'll just say there's a few bad endings you can get. Bad endings that are caused by too many bad hearts, and bad relationship endings that are caused by not enough hearts. You could avoid a bad ending on the first branch and get a bad ending after the next branch, so it's not over until you pass the final branch on day 10. And if you want a certain bad ending, see at what point of the game you can get it in, since you'll need to pass the first branches, if you want bad story ending 3 as an example. But if you pass all the branches safely, then you'll get your good ending or a normal ending on the party. As for what determines if you get the good ending or the normal ending, this is where the guests come in. The characters recommend guests throughout the game to invite to the party, and you have to accept them and exchange emails with them. You need a certain amount of guests to get the good ending, and if you don't get enough guests, then you'll get the normal ending. In casual and deep story, you need at least 10 confirmed guests, and in another story, you need at least 15 confirmed guests. After you accept a potential guest in the chat room, the guest will send you an email and you have to pick between two options on how to respond, and one of them is wrong and one of them is correct. You'll exchange 3 emails with the guest, so you need to pass at least 2 correct answers the first 2 times. If you pick a wrong option on the first email, the guest won't come to the party. If you pick a wrong answer the second time, they also won't come. If you pick a wrong answer the third time, they'll come. It's better to pick the right options on all 3 emails, of course, but it's okay to get the last one wrong. It'll tell you if you pick the wrong thing. The little email symbol will look like light orange, and if you pick the right thing, it'll look teal. So make sure you get at least 10 or 15 confirmed guests based on the story mode you're playing to get a good ending, or if you want the normal ending, then get less. If you don't want to use a guide for the emails, then there's still a trick I found. The emails don't save right away as soon as you answer them. They actually take a bit to save, so if you close the game as soon as you see that you picked the wrong answer and reopen it, it'll reset what you answered and you can pick the other option this time. You just need to close the game fast enough before it gets the chance to save, but don't tell Jared I told you this. And now to other features in this game. The private text messages are simple. The characters essentially text you and you can answer sometimes and get hearts through that. The story modes that appear after some chat rooms are like what's happening in real life with the characters, since there's more story to tell outside the messenger. The calls our characters can call you, and it's fully voiced, but don't worry, I saw someone worry about getting random calls from them out of nowhere. It's not like that. You only receive the call after finishing a chat room, or a chat room and the story mode after it, so it's only when you're already playing the game. And you can also call the characters yourself. But unless you bought the calling cards, it costs hourglasses, and they might not pick up. So I recommend searching up the times you can call certain characters for a certain call on the wiki if you want to see calls you haven't gotten, but don't have the calling card and don't want to waste hourglasses. The album is pictures the characters send you or CGs that appear in story modes. You can collect them. And for the in-game currency, there's hourglasses. I already mentioned them a couple times, but you can buy everything in the game with them. Like story modes, DLCs, calling the characters, participating in missed chat rooms, and more. You can get them by converting hearts you get while playing the game to hourglasses. Every 100 hearts equal 1 hourglass. And you'll also get them in chat rooms sometimes, and when the spaceship reaches the chips, it can give you hearts or sometimes hourglasses. And Chariot also gives hourglasses when you open the game during events, so just keep playing the game and you'll get them. Keep in mind they're very valuable and avoid spending them on stuff like missed chat rooms as much as possible. Now for after endings. After endings are short stories you can buy only after unlocking a character's good ending to get a peek at how your life is like with the character after their good ending. Although there are a few characters that have a longer after ending. That happens when the story wasn't resolved in their good ending after the 11 days of gameplay. Characters who have longer after endings are 707, V, and Ray. I think it's pretty important to play those after endings since the story isn't finished once you finish those routes. And I wanna say, if you finished 7's good ending, I really don't recommend starting another story before playing the secret endings that you can unlock as a continuation to 7's good ending. I mentioned earlier about another story not being a part of the original game, and before another story released, the secret endings were like the game's ending. It has a lot of important information, and you discover important secrets that are important to the game's lore. If you haven't played it and you wanna stay spoiler free, please don't look it up as it's very spoilery, but I really think it's important to play the secret endings after playing 7's good ending and before another story. While you won't be super confused if you played without the secret endings, I really don't recommend it, since the secret endings were created to be the game's original ending, and the way that players were supposed to find out about everything that's presented in another story. So I suggest treating the secret endings as where you get to see the secrets of the story, and another story as a continuation of that info. And the DLCs are extra content. There's multiple DLCs you can look at and see what seems interesting to you. I won't go too into detail about them, but they're definitely worth taking a look at. Personally, I really recommend the Christmas DLC, which is 2 days of gameplay, and has an ending available for each RFA member, as well as a bad ending and a good ending that's not specific to any character. So even if it's only 2 days of content, there's a lot to see. And if you want to play the April Fool's DLC, which is 1 day of content and focuses on Zen, since his birthday is on April Fool's. I recommend getting normal ending too if you like Doki Doki Literature Club. You'll probably like it. It doesn't quite have the horror element, but it has something in common with it. And just something I wanna mention from my experience, there's an option to skip the common route and skip right to a character's route on the 5th day by playing Hourglasses. And I don't recommend doing that if you're playing another story, as another story requires more hearts, and there was a time I played Race route by skipping the common route and buying it, and I'm pretty sure I did participate in enough chat rooms, but I still got the bad relationship ending that you get by not having enough hearts on day 10. And I can't be absolutely sure, but I suspect it was because I skipped the common route, and so I had less hearts than I would have had if I played the game from the beginning. And when the game calculated the amount of hearts I had at the final branch, it wasn't enough to pass because of that. I'm not absolutely sure, but it's likely, so just a warning so you don't get into the same situation I did and waste Hourglasses. And for present day Mystic Messenger, Chariots isn't making any more content for the game besides new title illustrations. Race After Ending was the last content they made for the game and we can't expect more. But here's some info if you're new to the game. There used to be opening chat rooms for events like characters' birthdays and holidays, and they had a few small chat rooms that appear whenever you open the game during an event. They no longer make them, but if you want to see old ones, there's an archive inside the game and you can buy them with Hourglasses. If you're worried about paying too much for one thing, every one of the events have multiple chat rooms you can look through, so it's worth the money. But keep in mind you can't say anything in them, only watch the characters chat. And that's my guide for Mystic Messenger. I really recommend playing it. I first discovered it at a very hard time in my life, when I had no one, and being able to chat with the characters every day helped my loneliness so much and pretty much saved my life. Honestly, I don't think I would still be here if I didn't play this game when I did. And Sherrod's put so much love in it. Although the writing isn't the best and it can be inconsistent at times, and definitely has some stuff that didn't age well, I think it's a very high quality game and it's a unique experience you can't get anywhere else. And very enjoyable. If you don't get interested by the first few days, don't give up on it. It really gets interesting when it starts getting into the story and when conflict arises, and it's worth playing it to the end. Even when it's less eventful, getting to chat with them adds more meaning to your day, and if you have too much free time, it's pretty much perfect since you'll have the time to spend on the game, and it'll help you have a sense of routine and something to look forward to in your day. I think it's a very special game and I can't recommend it enough. I might be biased since it's my special interest and saved me at a very vulnerable time in my life and helps me cope till this day, but I have no doubt that it's the best game I ever played. In fact, it's the most influential media I've ever encountered, and it honestly changed my life. Not everyone was as impacted by it as me since I share so much personal history with it, but everyone I recommended the game to really liked it and enjoyed it, so if you have the time and the dedication, you should play it. I promise it's worth it, and it's free to play and download from the App Store, and has no ads, and you'll easily get attached to the characters and have fun, I'm sure of it. Now that you watched this video, go play it and ensure Chariots never has a reason to shut the servers down so I can keep playing this game for the rest of my life. Thank you for watching.